guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Selena. So in this video I want to show you a simple tutorial on how you can drop this little cute top that you can wear on your jeans, your skirts, and also you can style it however you want to. So I'll be using this yellow polka dot fabric, and also I have the elastic. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a straight line. This is going to be the shoulder line. After that, I'm going to mark my waistline, which is 16 inches. And also, I'm going to add half an inch for the sewing. And I'm just going to draw straight lines across this point. After that, I'm going to mark 4 inches. This 4 inches is going to be the gathers. As you can see, this top has gathers, so I'm going to mark 4 inches. And I'm just going to mark a straight line down all the way up until the waistline. So after that, I'm going to mark this point and just write it gathers. And I'm now going to mark my shoulder line from this point, which is 15 divided by 2 is going to give me 7.5 inches. This is what I'm marking right here. After that, from this shoulder line, I'm going to mark 9 inches, and this is going to be my sleeve measurement. Okay, I'm using 9 inches for my sleeve measurement, so also you can use whatever measurement you want it depending on how long you want your sleeve to be. And I'm just going to extend this line right here. So that is the sleeve length. And I'm now going to open up my neckline. I'm going to use 3 inches, and downwards I'm going to mark 1.5 inches. This is going to be for the back neckline. I'm going to mark 1.5 inches right there. And then I'm going to mark 3 inches downwards. This is for the front neckline. So I will just move this point to this other side so that I can mark out my necklines. This is the back neckline that I'm marking right here, and this is for the front neckline. So I will go ahead and extend these lines on the gathers part that we left out. After that, I'm going to drop down with 1 inch from the shoulder line. I'm going to mark it right there, and I'm going to connect it with the opening of the neckline all the way up until the sleeve length. Okay, so I'm going to join these points together. As you can see right here, this is how I am joining these 3 points together. This is going to be the shoulder slant, and it's going to extend all the way up until the sleeve length. After that, I'm going to place in the measurements for the waist, which is 28 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 7 inches. This is what I'm marking right here. And also, I'm going to add 2 inches just for the ease of this top. Remember, we also have 4 inches the other side of the gathers, so that's why I'm only adding 2 inches, because I don't want this top to be too tight. I want it to be free and also have excess allowance. So I'm simply going to join these other parts together, and then I'm going to come down with 10 inches from this shoulder slant of the sleeve, and I'm going to mark 10 inches right there. This is how low I want the sleeve to be and the distance it has to be from the waistline. So I'll just join these points to the waist measurement I have right there. So after that, on my 10 inches mark, I'm going to go inwardly by 1.5 inches and mark it right there. I will just join this point to the upper sleeve part because I just want to shape how this sleeve will be. This is totally optional. You can still leave it how it is, or you can do precisely what I'm doing right here. So this is the point that I don't need, and I'm just going to shade it out. And I will go ahead and cut out this drafting that I just made. After cutting out this piece, I'm going to trace it directly onto the fabric, and I'm starting with the back part. So I'm marking 1 inch because this top has an opening at the back. So this is the reason why I am marking 1 inch. And also for the neckline of the back, I need to cut the neckline first. And I'm just going to leave half an inch for the sewing up there, and just also trace cut out this piece. as usual, I'm going to cut out this back part the way we usually cut out the back. So coming to the gathers part, I'm going to make a notch where the gathers are starting from, and also I'm going to make a notch where the gathers are ending. This is going to help me when I'm sewing to know exactly where to put my gathers and where to stop them from. So just make a notch where your gathers are starting, and also make a notch where your gathers are ending. This is how my back piece looks like, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out the front, and I'm going to cut out the neckline first, and then I'm going to trace this piece onto the front fabric. So just like the way I cut out the back piece, I'm leaving 1/2 inch allowance for the sewing because I had already left out allowance on the waistline. That's why I'm not adding any allowance on it, so I'm just leaving out allowances on these other parts. After tracing out this piece onto the fabric, I made a stitch line for making the gathers on the front where I'm supposed to make. Remember the notches that I made right there? So I'm going to just string these gathers all the way from the starting of these gathers up until the end. So this is what I'm doing right here. These are the gathers that I have on my front part, and I had my neckline 3 inches on fold, making it 6. So I'm just making sure this is still what I have. After this, I'll do the same thing for the 2 back parts of this top. I will just make the gathers on the center and just string them all the way up until I get the desired gathers that I want. After that, I'll now turn this inside out, and I'm going to mark our 6 inches. This is going to be for the opening of the top because this top does not have a zip, but it has an opening at the back. So this is the 6 inches that I am marking. You can make it lower or upper if you want, depending on how open you want it to be. And also, I'm just going to, after that, I'm going to fold this part right here, and then I'm going to make a stitching downwards from the 6 inches. After attaching the 2 pieces of the back, this is what I have, and I made a sewing right there. And also for this part, I'm going to make a stitching like this right here. So I'm placing these pins to show you just how I'm going to make the stitching there. After that, I'm going to join the front and the back pieces together, right side first and right side. That's how you're going to sew this. And also, I'm going to join these pieces together. I'm also going to attach those pieces together. And also, I'm going to make a sewing right here. And also, I'll make a sewing right there. So this is how the top looks like after attaching all those pieces together. I have my gathers right there, and also I have this side stitched together. This other left side is stitched together. And also for the down part, what I did is I made the gathers. Okay, so I made the gathers for this down part, and this is how it looks like. And this is what I have for the back part. This is the sewing I made right there, and also this is the opening of 6 inches that I left out. So moving forward, and now I want to cut out my elastic band, and to get this measurement I divided my waist by 2, which is 14 inches, and I added 1 inch for extra allowances. So this is what I have right here. And for the band, what I'm using, the width of the band that I'll be using is 3 inches. And the length of it, I've placed it at 40 inches because 5 inches is the extra allowances because of the elastic. And for the elastic band that I'll be placing inside of this fabric band, the length of it that I'm going to be using is going to be 11 inches. Okay, remember my initial band is 15 inches. So for the elastic, I'll be using 11 inches because it has to be less than the band itself. So I'm marking 11 inches right there. This is what I'll be using for the elastic band. So I will turn the fabric band inside out like this right there, and I'm going to make a sew in there, and also I'm going to sew the elastic itself like that, and I'm going to put it inside of the fabric band, as you can see me do like this right there. This is how I'm going to sew the band to the fabric band. So I'll just attach those 2 pieces together like that, and then I'm going to make a sewing on the sewing machine. After attaching the elastic band and also the fabric band together, this is what I have, and now I'm just going to attach it to this outfit. So I'm going to lay it out like this. Okay, I'm going to start with the back part, and I'm going to sew it all around up until I finish stitching this band to the top. After attaching the band to the top, this is how it looks like. And now what I want to do is I want to cut out the collar of this top, and it has the collar straps. So I'm going to measure the length of the front and also the back together like this, and I have 10.5 inches. So I have cut out this piece which has the length of 50 inches, right? So this is what I'll be using as the collar. The width is 3 inches. I'll use half an inch for the sewing, so it's going to be 2.5. And like I said before, the length of it or up until the end is going to be 50 inches. The next thing I want to do is I want to place in the measurements for the collar, which is 10.5 inches. So I folded this piece into two, and I'm going to mark 10.5 inches for the collar. So I will do the same thing for this down part. I'm going to mark it right there, and I'm going to put in the notches. The reason for doing this is this will help me know where the collar is ending when I start sewing this to the outfit. After that, I'm going to make a sewing right here, and also this other side I'm going to make a sewing all the way up until right there where the notch ends, and then I will leave that space in between and continue from where the other notch is, and I'm going to close it up at the other end. So after sewing those openings, this is what I have, and as you can see right there, I also have the open part where I'm going to attach this collar to the top like this. As you can see me right there, this is how I'm going to place it. I'm going to sew it all around all the way one side there, and then I'm going to sew this other part to the other side. After attaching all those pieces together, this is what I have. As you can see, the collar is right here, more like a strap. You can tie it however you want to. So I hope you learned something from this tutorial. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn your notifications bell. Thank you.